wasn't convinced. Are you ready to see some stars? I knew it. All right, we have our stars out here, and they are chomping at the bit. They cannot wait to come out here and meet you. But before I introduce them to you, I have 4 very important people to introduce out there in the crowd. Now, I know you all have some questions. So in order for you to get your questions up here to our panel, I want to introduce you now to our House representatives out there in the crowd. Right there with the tall umbrella in the red shirt and the Ravenclaw scarf is Kevin. Everyone say, hey, Kevin! All right, he's going to be over there. Where is Brian? Where did Brian go? There he is, right there. My Hufflepuff. Yes. All right, and of course, right down here in the front, we have our Slytherin. This is Layla. And right smack dab in the middle of the house, we've got Aaron, who is our Gryffindor. All right, folks, if you have a question, we need you to tackle one of these 4, and they will get your question up here to me, up here on the panel, and we will talk to our stars. So, let me ask you guys ready to meet these folks? I thought so. Well, he is a Tri-Wizard champion. He portrayed everyone's favorite Durmstrang, a Bulgarian bonbon that portrayed the world-class seeker, Victor Crumb. Please welcome out to the stage, Stan Yanevsky! Our next panelist fought as a member of the Order of the Phoenix and lit up the screen as the Metamorphagus. Please welcome to the stage the brilliant actor who brought the beloved Tonks to the screen, Natalia Tena!
Thank you everyone for being in the rain. You're amazing. Thank you.
All right, now you know these next 2 actors as the Jokester brothers, Fred and George Weasley. Their fun characters turned jokes into jobs, inspiring one of the most outstanding shops and experiences in Diagon Alley. Please join me in welcoming James and Oliver Phelps back to the stage.
Hello.
All right, we met our next guest's character, accompanying her mother to King's Cross Station to see her brothers off as they departed for Hogwarts. She portrayed the youngest member of the Weasley family. Please welcome the talented actress, Bonnie Wright! Wow. I think we got a marriage proposal from somebody down there. That was you? All right. Well, great. Thank you all so much for coming to listen to our questions and answer these for us. I would love to get us started with sort of something fun and simple. So, my question for the panel would be, what do you think your Patronus might be? And I'm going to open that up to all 5 of you at any order that you want to answer, and then we'll turn it to the crowd for some additional questions.
Yeah, we've been asked this a couple of times this weekend, but I'm going to stick with what I've always thought. Well, the one that I was actually given was an osprey. It's like a cool bird of prey, but I always really, really wanted to have a hedgehog. Because they're awesome. Cool, aren't they?
Yes.
Everyone likes a hedgehog.
Amazing.
Well, yeah, again, like I said, we've been asked a lot, but I keep changing mine. Like yesterday I was a goat. The day before I was a trash panda. I kind of like the trash panda one. Raccoons are quite scary, actually.
Yes.
Maybe I'll stay with, trash panda. There you go. I'm gonna go back to that.
I love that it can keep changing, though. It can keep evolving as you grow as a person. All right.
Well, my Patronus keeps changing. It was an eagle, it's been an ox, whatnot, but now I'm gonna go with a minion. I think that would be a cool one to have, and then all the army of minions behind him.
Absolutely.
I've said this, I say before, a sloth.
A sloth.
Yeah, a nice laid-back monkey. Definitely. Yeah.
Excellent.
Oh, well, I'm gonna stick with what I decided upon a few days ago.
Okay.
I was torn between a dolphin and a whale, because I love the water, be pretty good right now, be kind of waterproof. And I'm just thinking, when I thought about it, a whale in terms of scale as a Patronus would be pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
I think I would survive the Dementors if I got out a whale. I mean, it would just take over this entire space
It would certainly
quite
freak
quickly.
everyone
So I'm going to go
out.
for a whale.
Yes.
And they'd be, wise. They know what they're doing. They've been around.
Sure.
They know.
You'll be able to hear it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. And they're just working at their own, frequency. I just feel like I got a lot of trust in the whale, so I'll go with the whale.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I think these people are very eager to ask you all some questions. So I'm going to go first to Kevin over there, our Ravenclaw. Who do you have with you, Kevin?
We have Misty all the way from Ohio with us today. There you go. And what is your question?
This is for everybody. In the magical world, there doesn't seem to be part-time summer jobs like there is in the Muggle world for teenagers. But if there were, what do you think your character would have had for that type of job?
As a part-time summer job?
Yes.
Okay.
Some sort of newspaper delivery, but on a broom, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah, my character's very good at flying,
Yes.
so I think that's what she would have done when she was younger.
So wing some newspapers out there?
Not a lot of paper throwing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd probably say a newspaper delivery, but they would change the headlines and everything. So people would just get random news. I think that'd be quite.
I love it.
Not that I ever did that as a kid, but
No.
yeah.
I think they'd work in some sort of fireworks shop and just every now and then take a bit for later use.
Store it in your pocket for later on.
Yeah, over there. Yeah.
Ooh, I think a pretty cool way to spend your summer is whether or not, even in your own community, doing some sort of volunteering. I mean, the same issues must exist in the wizarding world. So I don't know. You could volunteer in some sort of community thing. I reckon.
Hospital, isn't there a hospital in their world? There is, isn't there?
Yeah, there's St. Mungo.
St. Mungo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe you could volunteer at St. Mungo's.
Very cool.
I think Crumb would make a very good observer.
Is that a
So
job?
he could be hiding behind whatever and just
Isn't that illegal?
observing. Huh?
It's like stalking.
That loitering, stalking.
Yeah, I think we call that
He
stalking.
wasn't really stalking Hermione, was he?
All right. Things just got super intense. All right. So I think let's go ahead and go to Brian back there at my Hufflepuff. Who do you have with you, Brian?
Hey, I've got Campbell from McLean, Virginia.
So, Bonnie, I know you've been working as a director. If you could go back and direct one Harry Potter movie, which would you do?
Wow.
Ooh, I often think, I often think that Christopher Columbus, who directed the first two films, is often overlooked for the amount of work that he put into creating the foundation of what Harry Potter became. He really set the tone for the home and the family side of Hogwarts. And I think that would have been really enjoyable to do, just to be there at the beginning of this idea and to feel as a director, you were there when you were making collectively within the production big decisions that influence the rest of the series.
Sure.
So I think that would be cool because you'd be sort of laying foundations.
Yeah.
And I often think that his work is not celebrated enough for what he did in the first two movies.
Very cool. Yeah, setting the tone. That's amazing. So Layla, you are right here in the front. Who do you have with you?
Down front, I've got Maddie all the way from Pennsylvania here, and she has a question for everyone on the panel.
Hi, okay. I was just wondering, what do you think is the most important message conveyed in Harry Potter?
I gotta say, Layla, she's a little difficult to hear.
Oh, she was asking, what do you think is the most important message that was conveyed in the Potter films?
Oh, wow, that is a great question.
I think one of the messages that is conveyed, and I said this earlier today, sorry if I'm repeating myself, but basically, this is a story about abuse. This kid is being abused very badly by his family, and he's able to find, basically your family doesn't have to be your home, and your home can be your friends, and where you make it, and where you choose to make that. And I think that's a really important message, especially for a lot of kids that, are abused, and they read that and they're like, it's okay, it'll be okay, I'll find good friends and I'll get out of this. I think that's a message, isn't it?
Can I ask for a favor from everyone in the crowd, in the audience?
Of course.
So going upon that, obviously, I don't know if you guys know that J.K. Rowling set up an amazing charity called Lumos, and it's about that. It's about helping children who are being sort of not seen behind walls of orphanages that unfortunately are becoming like child trafficking scenarios and situations. And myself and Ivana Lynch went to Haiti last year with Lumos and visited some of these institutions and met some of these children who had been reunited through the work of Lumos with their parents, because it's a shocking reality that 80% of children living in orphanages have a living parent. So I was wondering if you guys would say Lumos if I made a video. If you just said Lumos? Yeah? Okay. And that means light for anyone who, you probably know that, but it's just in case.
Are we going to count it down?
Yeah, saying
Sure.
Lumos, is that cool?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you want me to help you out with a countdown?
Wands at the ready.
Okay. Do everybody have their wands? Wands at the ready, everyone up? Very good.
1, 2, 3, and we're all gonna say Lumos. Yeah? Okay, cool. Ready? 1, 2, 3, Lumos! Thank you!
That's awesome. So great. So any further thoughts on the themes of the movie or the series, I mean?
I think sticking with the light theme is like the thing it's like the main quote from any of them is like, light can be found.
Light in the darkness.
Darkness, So that's definitely, I think everyone can relate to that.
Excellent. So Aaron is right there in the middle of the house. Aaron, who do you have with you?
I have Nadine. Nadine has been waiting 2 days to ask you this awesome question, Bonnie.
Wow, okay.
My question is, I know that in the books, I know that in the books, Ginny is portrayed towards the end as a super strong female role model, and I know that you do a lot of work in your community, and I was just wondering how it felt to be able to portray that as you grew throughout the series and the movies.
Yeah, thanks. That's a great question. I loved it. I mean, not only was, I think for all of us, there was so much in the books that we weren't able to physically get enough time with to put into the movies, but just knowing that I had that background of her character and how that developed and how she grew into herself as a woman and how she was very much this kind of brave warrior figure, I really was inspired by and loved. And all the work and dialogues I ever had with David Yates, who directed the last 4 movies, was really this warrior figure, and I love that. I just really enjoyed playing that. I've always been such a kind of tomboy as well, and I really, really loved that element of Ginny. And I think probably without knowing it, I was inspired by that character because I spent so much time with her, and I feel like I didn't really realize the impact it had until we finished. Like, I feel like a lot of things when I was in the bubble of making that was, I don't know, I just accepted it as the experience as it was happening. So meeting everyone and hearing your stories about how those characters have inspired you in your own lives have definitely made me realize actually what a great character she was, and also all the female roles, I think, in the Harry Potter series. So I loved it. Yeah. Thanks.
All right, Kevin, where are you? Who do you have?
We have Chris from Minnesota.
Hi, I'm wondering if, as the books were released, if any of you read them right after they were released and what your reactions might have been.
I was so excited about the last one, so I'm just going to jump in because I literally, it's one of the few times I've lied to one of my friends. I was meant to go and see her performance. She was doing a play. And I started the book at 8 in the morning and I lied. I just said I'm ill. And I didn't go and see it. I just had to just stay in and read the entire thing to the end. I loved it. I think it was a great way to end the whole series. I was a bit sad I died, you know. But people die in wars, so you know, it happens.
I remember when we were cast in the films and then the new books would be coming out. I've got to be honest. I had to read it twice because the first time you're kind of just very lightly skimming it. George, okay, what's George doing? And then you keep doing that, and then you reread the whole story so you can understand in what context it is. But yeah, it was quite interesting. Although I think when the last one came out, we were in Japan, and we'd had it. We bought it there because the English version was printed there, but the Japanese was not out yet. So we thought, okay, and this is before there's Twitter and stuff. So there's no spoilers. Turn my phone off so none of my friends could message me.
To be fair, someone could have told us in Japanese and I would.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably did. They probably did. Actually, yeah, I think someone came and went, George-san, like that, but no. So we were on a train and we were just listening to it on the bullet train. We were traveling around Japan. And I remember reading the thing with George and I was like, oh, that sucks. Wasn't the worst thing that could happen to him as it turned out.
No, it wasn't, was it really? But I actually, yeah, so on that trip we had two books and we basically weren't telling each other what we'd read or anything. So when I read what happened to Fred, I won't say 'cause it's a bit of a spoiler. But yeah, and then literally as I was reading it, I was like, wow, wow. And I was surprised with what happened, and I was equally surprised with how I was surprised, if that makes sense. Like, I hadn't realized just how attached to the character I'd become. And as I'm feeling this, the ticket inspector is coming down the train asking for tickets. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then this guy is like tapping me on the shoulder going like, ticket, ticket. I was like, mate, I've just died. Let me just... And so that was quite a memorable moment learning of that fate. But it was, like Nat was saying, it was crazy that happened. But I guess at least it happened in the last one and not the first book, right?
Any impressions on reading the book?
I mean, it was just cool in the sense that, I mean, I think it was such a collective experience that day that the books came out. There was a feeling, it was almost like a weird, like, Harry Potter New Year's Eve vibe. Like, everyone's at the bookshops and everyone's queuing up and you hear all these amazing stories of people waiting for hours to get it, you know, the midnight before. And I was always there, like, the day it came out at the bookshop, like everyone else. And I think you felt part of this phenomenon more even weirdly than we did when we were filming them in a weird way. Like, that felt more like I was part
with
of
that
it
more
when I was
gravity
there.
to the situation.
And yeah, you could feel the excitement on the street, or, you know, in London you'd be on the tube and everyone is reading it.
Right.
You know, so that was cool.
Excellent.
Well, I was a very fast reader because I was searching for a specific name to come up. Luckily it came out right towards the end in the Half-Blood Prince. So I was like, yes, finally he'll be back. And then they called me back to film and it was cut out. So I kind of died also, in a way.
All right. So Brian, where are you at? Who do you have with you?
I've got Adriana from Fort Lauderdale.
Hi. If you had the power to bring a character into our world, who would it be and why?
That's awesome. If you had the power to bring a character into our world here, which character would it be?
Dumbledore.
Yeah, I was like, Dumbledore, definitely. Yeah.
Teach all of us to be witches and wizards.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say I'll bring in the Hungarian horntail dragon. That'd be awesome.
That would be epic.
Where's James? Oh, there he is. There he is.
coming into the country. Have you got anything to declare?
Nope.
We can get like a little service dog.
Right.
Like, just
It's my service dragon.
Just have a leash.
Flying
Just like, yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yep, exactly. They said, "Well done, dragon," which was a really fun line of ours. Yeah.
Yes. How about bring Dobby?
Dobby.
Because he's cute
As
and
a-
he's
as a-
sweet.
As a free alpha.
Yeah, I'd be happy.
Yeah, I'll give him a sock.
Excellent. Where is Layla?
I'm right here, John.
Hello.
And we have Tara. She's from Orlando, local girl, and she has a question for the whole panel.
Because all you guys have unique wands, how long did it take you to get accustomed to them on the set? And this is especially geared towards Natalia and James.
I got to choose my wand, which was fun. I was given an option of 3, and I just immediately knew that that one was it. It's quite a yonic kind of shape to it, and I quite like that. I think it's quite feminine and strong. And what was the second question? Sorry.
How long did it take you to get accustomed to the wands?
How long did it take to get used to it?
Yeah, get used to it.
Well, we had Paul. I don't know if I think you've spoken to him.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Many
He did a
times.
lot of the choreography, and it kind of really helps to kind of say a lot of swear words while fencing. You know what I mean? That's how you start to kind of get the energy, and then you could stop swearing because obviously children.
We appreciate that.
That's kind of how I went about it, I think.
Mine was it's like a pine cone wand, which was about as comfortable as it looks. Like it was just like really awkward. And when we were filming the 5th movie, when we're in the room of requirement, like you had it every day, and every day I'd have like impressions of pine cones on my wrist, and I actually broke it 3 times. Mainly because you know how drummers do that cool thing where they just spin it? Like I'm not a cool drummer, and so like I'd go and do that, and the wand would just go flying, and it would break. Like some of the pine cones would come off, so it took quite a while to get used to it. But that's one thing that I think everyone would always say when they're asked what would they like to have had from the movies, like the wands. But they took them under lock and key, and they tour with the exhibition now, so the rest of the world can. But I keep mentioning it to Eddie and the guys who run it, saying like, can I have that when you're done? Just to.
But it's fine. You can buy one here.
There you go.
Yeah, and yes, this is true.
Thank you, Bonnie. All right, so Aaron, who do you have with you?
I have 3 sisters.
All
Their
right.
names are Paige, Zoe, and Brooke. And they have a question for the twins.
When you were 14, like, what made you want to skip school and audition for the Harry Potter movies?
I think the answer's in your question there. Yeah, my mother got a phone call from a friend of hers saying that they were doing an open audition for every part in the films, and obviously there's Fred and George in the films, in the books, and we thought, yeah, why not us? We always liked the characters, and it was quite funny. About the week before that, we had to choose what subjects we were going to do at school the following year, and the drama teacher said, "Oh, don't bother doing drama." So it was kind of in my head going, well, we're going to go and we're going to show you old man, what we can do. And yeah, so we skipped school, did the audition, which was filled with thousands of people.
But we did. Well, let me just say this though. It was at the very end of the school year where everyone's just reading books and like colouring in.
Yeah, or watching like a repeat of a film what they videotaped about 15 years before with the bass really, really high, like you always get at school. And we went to the audition and did that. Got a call back for over about 6 weeks, and then got the part. Went in. Loaded my friends were off to do drama class. I'm going off to film Harry Potter, so I know who won that one. Yeah, so it was good. I think that was a life lesson. Do what makes you feel good, not what someone else tells you what to do.
Absolutely. All right, Kevin, where are you? Who do you have?
We're right over here. I have got Kiarni from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Yes. What is your question?
The question is for the whole panel. In the future, when you have your own family and your own kids, how would you introduce the Harry Potter world and your characters to them?
That's a good question.
That is a great question.
Great question. Also, thank you for coming so far, firstly. And I mean, with the books, for sure. I mean, I love reading, and I feel whilst I feel also as like, if you want to become a writer for anyone else out there, I think the best way is to read a lot. And I think, yeah, just through the books in a very, and even maybe, I mean, there's also many beautiful illustrated books that have come out, you know, recently. So that could be even a nice way in terms of having that visual element to it. But definitely through the books. I mean, I would be strict on the sense that you could only watch the movie if you'd read the book.
I don't think that if I had kids, I wouldn't like. I'll just like leave them there, like the books there, like just.
It's in them.
Yeah, so they can like discover it on their own. But I don't think I'd actively tell them that I was part of it. Oh yeah. So then maybe one day, it'd be like, I think you, Dad. I think I'd leave. I've got George's fake missing ear at home. Yeah, as you do on the wall. So I'd probably move that into their bedroom and be like, do you want to know where that's
wait
from?
till they get to the end.
Exactly,
Final
yeah.
book.
Yeah.
Ever wonder what that's all about? How about you?
They pretty much covered everything exactly that I think.
Well, apart from leaving books lying around and hoping that they would pick them up and read, I will, well, depending on how many kids, God bless, more than 1, 2, 3, I don't know. I would, if there are, let's say 2, I would put a big poster of Viktor Krum in each room and say, put a question mark and say, guess who that was and is. And then when they grow into watching the films, you know, they'll have space to answer, it's you, Dad.
That's awesome. Hey, where's Brian over there? Good. Hello. Who do you have with you?
Hey, I've got Stephanie from Maine.
Were any of you asked to audition for any other roles other than the ones you were casted in?
Interesting.
Did you read for any other
Did you
role?
read for any other parts other than what
one.
you were cast in?
We had to make sure they knew we weren't going for the Patel twins. But no, we were very fortunate that we were just Fred and George. Although we didn't find out who was going to be who until the read-through. Literally like 5 minutes before we first read through the script, we still didn't know who was going to be Fred or George. So we literally had to ask the casting director, and she was like, "Oh, good, you're playing with me." And I was like, "No, really. Who's Fred and who's George?" And so she came back and she was like, "Yeah, James, you're Fred, Oliver, you're George." So, but that was the only other character that I read for.
I only had one because I think I was a bit older, so I wasn't in the school. So I don't think there's anyone else that I could have, that, you know, my age and my look I could have gone for. I think that was pretty much the only thing I could have gone up for.
Okay.
No, Ginny, that's all I went for. Ginny didn't have any lines in the first movie. I know I had good luck in the end, but those words were decided, we added those the day that we shot Platform 9 3/4 scene. So for the purpose of having something to at least say in the audition, I did read Hermione's lines, but I remember reading the scene like when they're in the train compartment on the, you know, on their journey to Hogwarts the first time, but I was going in for Ginny, yeah.
Okay. I'm guessing the same.
Yeah, Krum didn't speak much anyway, so I remember Mike asking me to do various scenarios and then talking my language, and I remember, well actually he said, you know, he made me be in love, and then he said, I'm gonna snap my fingers and I want you to be very angry. And the one thing I asked him was, can I speak in my language? And he said yes, so I hope this never comes out to live, because my house mistress at the time wouldn't like to hear what I said.
Okay.
But it got me really angry, and I think it did the job.
Sure did. All right, where is Layla?
I'm right over here, John. You see me? Over here? Hi, hello. Behind the really adorable Slytherin on someone's shoulders.
Yes.
Yes, here. Okay.
Hello.
We have Heather from Miami here, and
Cool.
she has a question for Natalia.
Hi, Natalia. I actually met you a year and a half ago at SuperCon dressed as Tonks.
Oh, amazing. Thank you.
So thank you for bringing her to life. I wanted to ask you how much you think personally in relation to the movie, your personality kind of influenced how you played Tonks.
I suppose there's always a little bit of you in everything you do. You know, how you interpret something, so that's obviously going to be subjective. But at the time I don't know, it was quite a small part, so it wasn't that much to kind of, I was, you know, very, very, very small cog in a very big wheel, so it was more about the other people around me and how they reacted to me more, because I was entering someone else's world that had already been built. But I remember in the audition, I was like, I didn't know anything about Harry Potter, and I walked in and I tripped over a chair, and I started like rambling at this director, David, and I was like, yeah, apparently she changes her hair a lot, I do this all the time, and at that point, from like the age of 13 to whenever it was I auditioned, maybe 22, 21, I hadn't had my natural hair color. So whatever, you know, whenever I felt, you know, I remember I broke up, the first time I had my heart broken, I went into a hairdresser and I was like, make me look like a funeral. So I kind of very much like understood that thing of whenever a mood changed completely, you know, I had bright orange dreads, and I shaved them, then I had like watermelon hair. I mean, so I kind of got that side of it.
That's awesome. Erin, who do you have with you?
I have Anna from California. Ironically, she has a question for Natalia about her hair.
There you go.
So throughout your time in the series, you got to wear a lot of different features, a lot of different outfits, and a lot of really different hair. And I was wondering what your favorite wig was throughout your time there.
It's very weird how it felt like each film was a bit like what was kind of happening to me a little bit in my own life, in like elements of, I don't know how to say it, like I had a bit of a bad time, and that was like the Half-Blood Prince when she's kind of going a bit dark. So I was like, yeah, do it. I want to have a mullet in real life. So that was my own hair. Got some strange looks for a while. But I loved the purple one. I really loved it. I wish, I never had a red wig. That was actually CGI. I think I would have preferred the red one though. That, you know, red's my favorite hair color that I've had.
Very cool. Where's Kevin go?
Right over here.
Who do you have with you?
What is your name, dear?
Emma.
Where are you from, Emma?
Orlando.
Okay, hometown girl. Very good. Woo. And what is your question?
From, as you know, reading the books, that some of the book scenes were cut out of the movies. Is there any book scenes that you wish were still kept in the movies?
That's a great question. I'll just throw it out to the whole panel. Are there any cut scenes from the books that you had kind of been like, that should have been in the movie?
I mean, there was so much of Ginny's Quidditch and just, I mean, all of that stuff. I mean, there was just so much of hers that kind of really told that element of her, that sort of very sort of captain, kind of leader of the pack kind of vibe. And I mean, it was never in the books, but it'd be cool to have a wedding scene.
Right.
I mean, Harry and Ginny's wedding would have been cool.
That would have been lovely.
Yeah.
I think for mine would be the swamp scene from the Goblet of Fire. That would have been awesome to be able to do. Crack acts anyway. Yeah, that was always one I thought of.
I really liked in the last one the Resistance radio channel that was going on. So it would have been, we actually did it for the EA game.
Oh, cool.
That was done. So that was cool. But to have actually done it in the film would have been good. And
nice.
I've got two.
Okay.
I read the books last year again because I really missed them, and I was like, I haven't actually read them from beginning to end in ages. So I did that. I don't know. I think in the book, I'm not going mad, but there's quite a big kind of moment for Dumbledore's funeral, and I think that was missed. And I would have loved to have seen how everyone said goodbye to him. I think, you know, the mermaids come and sing, and just the imagery of everyone, you know, saying goodbye to this kind of epic pillar in the community would have been nice.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have gone to Hogwarts. You know, in the sixth book as well, she goes and she's kind of involved and she's a protector, and everyone, you know, you can see no one knows what's wrong with her, and like at the end it's like, I love you, you know, that bit that you kind of get why she's just lovesick. I think that would have been nice to play.
Lovely.
Well, I would have loved to have all the Quidditch stuff in the film that was cut out the book. I mean, half the book wasn't in the film, so all of that stuff, definitely. I would have loved to see Crumb do a little more of his best thing.
A little bit more action. All right, Brian, where are you?
Hey, I'm right here. I've got another world traveler from Orlando. I've got Nikki.
Hey, Nikki.
Hey, how are you? My question is for the whole panel. You've met millions of fans who fan out over you guys. Is there anybody who you work with on set that you actually fanned out over?
Yes. So basically, I've never like had that thing of like thinking, I don't know, having like that thing of like, oh my god, an actor, like I don't know everyone, you know, everyone goes to the toilet, everyone dies, everyone cries. It's irrelevant. But saying that, then I started working. I had two people actually. I love Robbie Coltrane. From the series he did when I was a kid called Cracker, which someone that's 8 should not be watching, but I did. Definitely affected me for life. But the one that really, basically, she noticed it, she clocked it, because she saw me chatting to everyone, being chatty, and at one point she came up to me makeup, she's like, hey, you haven't come and said hi to me. I'm like, yeah, hi. Helena Bonham Carter. I was obsessed. I think I've seen Fight Club like 17 times. I also really fancied Brad Pitt and Edward Norton, so it was like an obsessive adolescent thing.
Right.
So, yeah.
I'd say Julie Walters for me, playing our mum, especially because like growing up, we always loved Julie's stuff.
Yeah.
But then I remember when that was the first time I met Bonnie as well on platform 9 3/4. Right before the start of the day, there was Oliver, Rupert, and myself, and we were waiting on like the green room was on a train itself, actually in the station. And so we were waiting there, and all of a sudden you just hear Julie coming down the train saying, "Where are my boys? Where are my boys?" And then from then it was literally like, this is Mama Hem for the Weasleys. So that was really cool.
That's awesome.
For me, it was at the first read through was so sitting next to us was Rick Mail, who played Pease, or was Pease, and growing up he was like comic idol for me, like from like shows like The Young Ones and Bottom. And I remember when we first did our line in the thing, he was the first guy who like really overly laugh about it. It just put me at total ease, and it was sometimes it's cool to meet heroes, you know. Yeah, it's good.
That's awesome.
I would say it was more, so I plucked up the courage to ask David Thewlis to be in a film that I made and directed.
Oh, nice.
And I think that was just super cool to work with someone. That was the first film I directed, short film I directed, and I really admire his work, and I just think he's just such a lovely person, and I just really appreciated his time that he spent, you know, doing something with me, and he really responded to the script and the character, and I was just really taken away by that, so that was cool.
Excellent. What you, Stan?
Well, I was very happy meeting Maggie Smith because first she's a very big, huge British superstar actress that's respected immensely, and I was actually scared in a way to go and talk to her, but then she turned up once. We met in a corridor, and she was the loveliest person you can imagine. So I was really happy, you know, that I had the chance to talk and, you know, film with her.
Excellent. Hey, Layla, who do you have with you?
Hi, I've got Jessica from Ocala, and she has a really interesting question.
All right.
So,
She also has a hairball.
my question's for the entire panel. At one point in an interview, J.K. Rowling said that she was originally going to pair Hermione with Fred instead of Ron. And I kind of want to know what y'all's thoughts are on that, and how different the story would have been if she did that.
Interesting.
Well, it wouldn't have worked out, would it?
Spoiler alert.
That's true. I think it worked out pretty well in the end for Ron and Hermione. I think that was a good way for it. And then, a few of us have been fortunate to see The Cursed Child as well, and seeing the evolution of the story as well. So personally, I think that worked out just as well.
Yeah. Well, that's only because Crumb had to go back to Durmstrang.
He's still looking behind the tree, like.
All right.
Bring out Ron.
It just got real up here, people. Erin, who do you have?
I have Missy from Chicago.
Hey, Missy.
Hey, Missy. With a question for the panel.
I would like to know what you would see in the mirror of Erised.
Oh, that's a great question. What would you see in the mirror of Erised?
What's that? The scary thing?
The mirror that shows you what your heart's desire.
Heart's desire?
Yeah. Reflects back your... That's deep. We could literally be here for half an hour on this one alone.
That is deep.
Any?
Is it usually a person or like a thing, or because I mean, obviously for Harry, it's his parents.
I think it's literally anything that your heart would desire.
Well, I've been away for a month, so right now it'd be my dog.
Aww.
I'd want my dog there as well. Bad, no, I didn't think of that immediately.
I miss my motorbike.
That's fantastic. I know it's a hard question.
Sunshine and dryness for everyone.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So you can see like, I would want to see kind of equality between the sexes. I'm really bored of this shit, of it not changing. I would like to see that on a beach with my dog.
There you go.
Done.
That's awesome. All right, it looks like we might have time for just one more question. Kevin, where are you at?
Right over here. And what is your name, dear?
Darian,
Where are you from, Darian?
Washington.
Okay, Washington State, by the way. Yes,
right.
And what is your question?
With how consistently the fan base for Harry Potter has continued to grow, how does it feel knowing that you are the physical representation of characters as well as role models for past, present, and future fans?
What an awesome final question for our panel.
When you say it like that, it sounds kind of terrifying.
No pressure.
So I think all of us are just so grateful to be part of a series that has continued to affect so many people's lives in a positive way. And I think every time you meet someone, the goodness that is and like represents Harry Potter is so what you feel. Like you always feel that positivity from someone, and they can't help but like get that smile on your face. And I hope that we, in our own way, you know, did the best we could with the characters that were given to us. And I just think it's amazing that there's a physical space here that we can come to and we can all be in, because we're all, you know, technically in many different places on our phones, but
Right.
here we're here, so that's cool.
Excellent.
I think as well it's cool that there's, as you say, like past generations, current, like we've met kids who weren't even born or even thought of.
Right.
When the first film came out, or in the last film came out, yet they know everything about it. So to think that there's generations upon generations who are going to grow up with this, and as say, can come to this space, can engulf themselves in the books, look at our younger selves in the film. It's just amazing. It's really cool. The whole role model thing is quite a heavy thing when you say it like that, but hopefully we guys keep you guys entertained. So. Also, I think it's also just a privilege. Like this right now is an amazing memory. Like they've actually provided the weather from England for you guys right now. But to see all you guys just still there in that, thank you so much for making us feel so welcome and enjoying what we do.
I don't know. I think that normally we kind of just go back to our lives, don't we? We forget, go and do other jobs, and and moving around different places around the world, you forget. And it's when you come to places like this, you're like, oh wow,
yeah.
I can't. But when I reread the books, and I was like, I was excited. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like he says, the role model thing's terrifying, but it's amazing.
It's a great privilege to be able to stand on a stage in front of you guys, just sharing. I mean, not just our time, we are sharing part of our lives with your lives. So I would like to thank you on behalf of all of us for allowing us to do that.
Absolutely, and we would like to thank you, die-hard fans, for sticking it out in this rain. You guys love Harry Potter, and we love you. We're gonna have one more final big applause for all of our members here. Stan Yanowski, Natalia Tenna, James Phelps, Oliver Phelps, and Bonnie Wright. You guys have been the most awesome fans. Thank you for joining us for a celebration of Harry Potter 2018. Thank you, and good night.
Thank you.